Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Here on my channel, I do planner and planner related videos, DIY tutorials, art and journal videos, and the occasional new release video of items that I've listed to my Etsy shop. And if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you hit that little notification bell, you'll always be notified of when I load a new video. Commenting, liking, and sharing this on your favorite platform does help my channel grow and would be truly appreciated. All right, we're going to be working on something a little bit different today. I will be working on a plan of transition as I transition slowly back from working at home to working in the office, and also just dealing with some of the things that are part of the new normal now for the next conceivable future. I did want to do a couple of things actually. This was a Happy Nietzsche Traveler's Notebook cover that I had made, but I don't know if you can see it, and the glare is probably impossible, but there's some flaws in this, and I generally don't like to put stuff like this in my shop. Now my shop is on vacation. I'm hoping that if everything goes well and we do transition back to the office and things are loosened, we don't have a resurgent in numbers here, then I can reopen my shop. I was kind of soft targeting June 1st. Because I will be in the office Mondays and Fridays, and so I figured I could mail things out Mondays and Fridays, but we'll see. I might just see how that first week goes and then go from there. And so I'm just switching it out. I'm just going to get rid of the old one, and I'm going to use the same elastic which actually goes. With the last one it didn't necessarily, but this one it does. And because it's rather plain, I've got these two sticker books out. And I know they seem vastly different, and they are, but I mean, a sticker book is a sticker book. So I've got the fall and the baby boy. And there's some cute artwork in here. Now, I don't have kids, but I liked the pictures in here. So that's why I have this one out. And I think I'll just put this one. You Are My Sunshine. It seems rather weird when I'm single, but I can be my own sunshine, right? I'll put that right there, and there we go. And I'll probably switch this out again when it gets either grubby or as we get closer to fall. But that's done, so that's one part of that transition plan. And then I have this out mostly because of the paper. Now this is, as I was looking through my various happy notes, most of the spines are rather colorful, and I didn't want that. So I'm going to take out 2 pages. I think I'll only need 1, but I liked something to have a writing surface on. And then I'll bring this back because this is going to go in here. This is really the only planner that I work out of. I did have a work planner that I used, but that also is going to be changing, and there will be a video about that coming up this week as well. So I'm just going to fold this so that it fits in. And I'm going to keep the fold as of right now. I might only need this, and then I'll cut this off, but I'm not sure. We're going to be doing this together on camera, so I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out, but I do want to just write some things down on what I used to do, and then some things I'll need to think about going forward. So let's just flip this to the back for now. And I actually was flipping through this right before I started filming, and I like some of the deeper colors in here. Now, some of the fall stuff I'm going to avoid altogether, but the deeper colors, they don't bother me, and I don't know that you should necessarily just keep things on reserve. I think you should just use things like that. That doesn't necessarily scream fall to me. So let's use that. And what I'm thinking about is the way that I approach getting to and from work, the way that I approach shopping in the morning, which is what I used to do. Because really this is a transition to work plan. Me transitioning back to the new normal just in general really actually shouldn't change. I wasn't a very, I don't want to say I wasn't very social, but I wasn't very social. So all of my socializing typically happens online. And if you're an introvert like me, that's where your comfort zone makes it just easier for you to do that. My YouTube channel, my Etsy shop, my blog, all of those things are online functions. I don't have a lot of interaction outside of my actual physical job. And so really this is going to help me just think about transitioning for that. Although if you are looking at doing something similar, how you are going to be transitioning to the new normal, whether it's, you know, with your kids going back to school, your grandkids going back to school, you going back to work, how you're going to approach shopping. I mean, I think this would be a really valid way to just, okay, what did I used to do? And what do I need to think about now? And hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But for me, it's not even so much having a plan. It's just thinking about processes is really going to help me transition, because I like being creative and spontaneous in that way, but I am all about structure and the other part of my life. And so not having a lot of that gives me a little bit of anxiety. And so I'm hoping something like this will help tone that down for me. So I put those 3 things down. And one will be focusing on the transportation aspect, as I will be going and using the bus more so than I have been. When we transitioned to working from home, anytime I had to work in the office, my brother would actually drop me off and pick me up. And so I have not taken the bus since late March. So even just how you approach that is going to be a little different. I want to put something here on shopping in the morning, picking up food, and then also about meal planning, because I used to really hate taking food from home just because it's stuff that I would have to lug in, and then if I use containers, things I'd have to lug back. But again, depending on the new normal that you're in, some of those things may not be a thing anymore that you can do. For instance, I don't know if a lot of the little mom and pop shops that I would pick breakfast up in, I don't know if they're going to be able to reopen just because they've been closed for so long. I don't know if it's just one of those really sad realities that this is happening, that they're going to remain closed. So it's just, everything's really up in the air right now. I want to put something up here. Oh, that's really pretty, but that's definitely, well, I mean, it's plaid. Don't necessarily know that it screams fall. And I'm going to put this one. Think happy, be happy. And then just to flesh it out, put this one right here that says, no. I like this orange. So I'm going to do some layering. So we'll do that at the top there. And then just to bring in some lightness, we'll do this pale one down here. And so that orange one really was just an accent color. And then I think that takes up the space, and it is very appropriate. And then let's do some writing. Now, if it seems sort of freewheeling, it absolutely is. But again, I'm trying to figure out how to make my life as normal as I can when things aren't really normal anymore. So for the bus, at least as of right now, you have to wear a mask or they can deny you ridership. So wearing a mask is going to be part of my new normal. And they are limiting hours, or not hours, they're limiting the amount of buses that are out. Now again, that was in response to just the state pretty much shutting down, but they may reopen that. But for instance, so I take an express bus, which is a commuter express bus from my subdivision out into town, because most people actually work in town or in Waikiki. So there used to be 5 buses in the morning starting at 5 o'clock in the morning going through 6:20. Now there's 2, so there's the 5:20 bus and the 6:20 bus. And so having limited, it's not even routes, but limited bus service will change how I do things. I might catch the 6:20 bus. That doesn't give me a lot of time between when I get on the bus and getting to work. Right now, which is also something that's going to change, I'm going to be working 7:45 to 4:30. When I worked fully in the office, I worked from 6:30 or 6:45 to 3:30 because I live so far out. It's just easier for me to get in early and to leave early. But with all of this going on, they want us to have pretty standard schedules, and so that's going to change for me as well. So I mean, there's just, the more I'm talking about it, the more things are coming up I didn't really realize. So limited bus service, and again, that can change to and from how I do things. And then I believe they are social distancing on the bus. And I think the way they're going to do that is probably like 1 person per double seat, maybe 1 or 2 people in the front section where you face each other versus the regular seats. That also, depending on how full the bus gets, might mean you might be denied. I don't know. I haven't taken the bus in such a long time. I don't know what that's like. So that in itself is giving me a little bit of anxiety, just because having to stand is already bad enough, and I don't know that they're going to allow people to stand because there's absolutely no social distancing that way. But then you're also required to wear a mask. So again, that's a hurdle I'm going to have to figure out when I get there. And then shopping, and this is something I would do fairly regularly, because there are a Walmart, a CVS, and there used to be a Walgreens in the downtown area that I could shop at. Walgreens has since closed in that particular location, but I don't know that the stores are going to be open as early as they used to be. And again, when I was leaving the house at 5 o'clock in the morning to start at 6:45, I could have almost an hour before I actually started work that I could do things, pick up breakfast, and do whatever. That may not be a thing anymore. So when do the shops open? And the other thing is, do I really need to browse? And I mean, that was a way to kill time. It was safe because there were other people there. It was fully lit. Sometimes, depending on the season, it can be dark when I leave the house and it can be dark when I get home. And so you definitely want to put yourself in situations where you're around people and it's safe. But that might, I might not have enough time from when I leave the house until when my shift starts for that to even be a thing. Plus, I mean, do I really just want to be hanging out in stores that are full of people? So there's that. And then meals. And that is, are the little shops even open? And that I won't know until I venture into town. Although I might just need to suck it up, I don't know how else to say that, and just bring food in from home or bring things that are readily able to heat. So if I bring ramen, cup of noodle, Chef Boyardee, just canned goods, things like that, or if I bring salad, like green salad in a plastic bag, again, working from home makes it super easy. I just go to the kitchen and there's where the food is. Picking up things in the cafeteria, sourcing things downtown was really easy. There was only one part of the leg of my journey that I'd have to carry things in. But carrying it on the bus for the full bus ride, which can be upwards of an hour or two, it's no bueno since I tend to carry lots of other things. Or bring food from home. Okay, so that's sort of things I need to think about for the transition plan. And I think I'm going to keep this because what I am going to need to make sure I have is I need to streamline what I'm carrying with me. Because right now I have my purse, which includes my Happy Nietzsche, my wallet, cough drops, pens, hand sanitizer, my keys, and little things in here that you find in your purse. And then I also will have this little thing right here. This is what I'll be talking about as I'm setting up my work planner for that transition period. I'll have this. It's pretty light, it's pretty slim, so that'll be that. In my bag that I always have with me, in that I have a lightweight shawl, I have my umbrella, I usually have a snack or two, I carry my water, and I like to bring a book with me, but I don't know if there's just going to be any space, because really anything I have with me I have to make sure it fits on my lap, because I'm a commuter. So I can't have a ton of things, but I need to be prepared for the coldness of the bus because the buses are usually freezing. I need to be prepared if it's going to rain. It can rain from one second to another here in Hawaii, so I need to be prepared for that. Sometimes if I get stuck on the bus, I like to have a little bit of a snack just so that I don't get sick. I need to carry my headphones because I do listen to music on the bus, and that's attached to either my purse or my extra bag. If I do some shopping, I need to have some bags for that as well. And so I want to create a sort of list system to make sure that I have, or I know things that I need to have with me. Even with the face masks, for whatever reason, my nose runs like crazy when I'm wearing a face mask, and whether it's just for like a second that I'm popping into something, or if it's, you know, yesterday I did some errands and I had it on for a good hour, my nose runs like crazy. Now, so long as I don't take it off, it's okay, but I can't wear it again later in the day. So for any given day, I'm going to need to have at least 2 masks, just because I need to get to work, I need to get home, and then I might have one that I just use at work. Now, it might seem super fussy, it might seem super vigilant. I know whole groups of people who don't believe in masks and refuse to wear them, and what are you going to do, right? there's nothing you can do to convince people. However, on my campus, as of right now, that is going to be something that is required. If you want service, you need to wear a mask. If I go to another department, I need to wear a mask. If they do open the cafeteria, we need to wear masks. The bus is requiring that if you want to get on the bus, you have to wear a mask. Most stores require that if you want to shop there, you have to wear a mask. And again, that can be eased as we get into the summer. Depending on our numbers, that can be slammed and we get shut down again. I don't know, but I need to be prepared in how I'm going to deal with that. And so I think I have maybe 6 or 8 masks that I've made so far. I can definitely make some more for myself. So I want to make sure that I have masks with me and do an actual count of masks that I have. So number of masks. And then I'll put that number once, because I'm actually doing laundry right now, so I can figure out how many I have that are usable. I do have a few that I made as testers and I don't like them, so I won't wear them. And then number of masks needed. And then once I have that number, I can do that right there. And then I'll need, and I've seen something on YouTube, and I'll have to test that out, where you can put your used bags in like a bag that you make, and so you're not using a ton of plastic bags. And so I might make that. So make a fabric pouch for masks. And I do want to make sure that I have some extra elastics with me. The elastic that I used here is the same one that I put on my masks, really because I had it. But I noticed yesterday that one of my ears, not both, weirdly enough, because they were both the same size, but one of them really was a little bit too tight and it was hurting. And so I want to have some extra elastics with me just in case I need to do some mask surgery. And what else do I want to track on this side? Put a line there, put a line there, and this can check off. And then we can do a to-do down here. I can keep this as things to make or whatnot, but let's add a sticker from here. And this actually, color-wise, works. And I will be transitioning as of June 1st to 2 days on and in the office and 3 days at home. So what I need to make sure I have is I need to rearrange both my purse and take out anything unnecessary. Rearrange purse. And I also need to rearrange the bag that I carry everything else in. Rearrange bag. And then I'll need to make a list of things that I might need to return back to the office, because I brought my 10 key calculator here. I've got a few stamps here that I use. Stapler was my own, pens were my own. I'll be working on my work planner that transitions back and forth, but that really belongs to me. And then I also borrowed a work chair, but since I am going to be working from home, I'm just going to leave the chair here. I actually had 2 chairs in my office, one for me and then one for students, but we're not going to be meeting students in our office, so that's not going to be a big deal. So list of items to return. And I'll need to go through that. And this will change again, I'm thinking. once we fully transition, because then anything that's still left at home from my job, I will definitely need to bring back. And I've got some policy and procedures that I were going to update. So if I don't get that finished, because I've actually had a lot more work from home than I thought I would, then I'll definitely need to bring that back as well. And I can pretty much get a ride into work if I do have a bunch of things that I can't carry into, either for my brother or my dad. But that's not something that I can count on for both ways, either going to work and coming home on a daily basis. And I wouldn't expect them to have to change their schedules for me. So I think that is a good jumping off point. And then here, let's just make this a little pretty. I'm going to do some lettering with my Mildliner brush pen. Okay, and you absolutely cannot see that, but that's fine. And I'm looking at my regular Mildliners. I don't know why I'm loving the oranges and the yellows so much, but I am. So, transition plan. So let me do some outlining here. And with those Mildliner brush pens, and I have an entire series if you are interested in learning how to do hand lettering, and it really is super general, very simple, because it was a hand lettering series that I did as a beginner. I'm still a beginner, but if you've tried hand lettering before and it always just seemed a little bit too fast, or like they were leaving out steps, that's what my hand lettering series really tackled. Was, okay, if you were level 0, what exactly is it that you need to know? But I learned during that series that, purposely, the Mildliners are very light. They're literally in the title, they're Mildliners. However, I love this trick where you outline in a darker color. And it doesn't always have to be black. It actually looks quite nice if you use other colors, just something darker. And then it really just seems to pop by way of the color, and you don't even have to be super neat about it, but all at once, I think that looks really sweet. And even with the regular Mildliners, you can transfer or trace around that. Don't have to be super neat. And it just makes those colors that may be a little bit on the light side just really stand out. And let's just really lean into that. And we'll do new, normal. So to the... And this may seem, and if you guys are even still here, this may seem very simplistic or very redundant, that you need to write all of these things down. But this really, even if there isn't a lot that I can have control over, at least I can give myself a semblance of a plan that, okay, I can't control what the state does. I can't even control what other people do, but I can control what I can control. If that makes any sense. So I can't control if people are going to wear a mask. I can't control if people are going to go shopping, if they're going to take the social distancing rules to heart. I can't control any of that. And there's no point, as much as it aggravates me, there is no point in me giving it any more attention or any more aggravation that I can do. Or that I need to, because I mean, it's just human nature to get aggravated. But, I'm not going to try to change someone's mind whose mind is already made up. I don't have enough energy for that. Maybe that makes me a bad person, but I don't have enough energy for that. But what I can control are how I'm going to tackle the new normal, and I can do some planning. As much as you can call this a plan, but at least it's the beginning of something. At least I'm focusing on things. I do have some areas here if other things come up. Once I test it out, okay, does this work? Does this not work? Did I not even think about this? A list of things that I want to have in place for these things, some to-do things specifically because of work. And again, this is tailored for me transitioning back to work, because that's going to be the biggest change for me. I don't have kids. I don't need to worry about anyone's schedule. I didn't have a lot of doctor's appointments. I generally don't, unless there's something wrong with my skin and my legs. But even that, I think, is going to change a little bit on how hospitals treat people. I don't know. I don't even know if my regular clinic is open. But I think this is something that if you are dealing with some anxiety, you can start looking at, okay, what did I used to do? What do I need to do now? And then how am I going to transition into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? Because even when we go back to work full time, that little work planner is not going to be a thing. At least it doesn't have to be. But that could mean I need more masks. That means I might come into contact with more people. And so I may have to think about, well, when I get home, I may need to go directly and take a shower. Again, it's not like Hawaii is teeming with pandemic patients, but we've been staying at home, so you haven't been exposed. You go out in public, and I'm like a medium risk. I do have high blood pressure. I've had a pulmonary embolism in the past, so I'm prone to clotting. I'm not asthmatic. I'm not diabetic, so I'm okay on that factor. But both of my parents and my brother have lots of predisposed factors. And so I don't want to be the reason why, because I came in contact with someone on the bus, that they get sick. So if it seems super fussy, it isn't even so much thinking about myself. It's thinking about the people that I work with and thinking about the people that I live with, and trying to mitigate as much as I can between all of the different aspects for that. And again, I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, if this was just an endeavor in futility. I don't know. But it does give me a little bit of satisfaction knowing that at least I'm trying to think of something to make it easier on myself. And I'm actually going to take this out. I mean, I know who I am, so I don't need to see my name, although it's super cute. I'll probably store this away in where I warehouse all the previous months. But yeah, that is my transition plan, at least the start of it. And as I go back into work, as I see things that I hadn't thought about, I can definitely flesh this out more. And then I have the entire back page to do the same. So yeah, I think this is going to work perfectly well for me. I hope you guys find some value in this video. There's probably not going to be a lot of editing, and it's probably going to be a little bit long, but I mean, I think this works the best for the way that my brain works and how I deal with a situation where there's so much uncertainty. All right, guys, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.